And most importantly, we must proceed from the fundamental understanding that security must truly be comprehensive, which inherently means it must be equal and indivisible, and it absolutely cannot be ensured for some at the direct expense of the security of others.
This principle is firmly established in foundational international legal documents. Disregarding this basic, vitally important principle has never led to anything good, and it never will. This was clearly demonstrated by the crisis surrounding Ukraine, which became a direct consequence of years of ignoring Russia's legitimate interest, and a deliberate policy aimed at creating threats to our security, pushing the NATO bloc closer to Russian borders, despite the public promises made to us.
I want to emphasize this point.
This is in direct contradiction to the public promises that were given to us. I would like to remind you that Russia has repeatedly put forward initiatives for the construction of a new, reliable and just architecture of European and global security. We have put forward various options and rational solutions that could potentially be acceptable to everyone involved. In America, Europe, Asia, and indeed throughout the entire world. We believe that it would be highly advisable to revisit a substantive discussion of these proposals in order to firmly establish the specific conditions under which a peaceful resolution of the ongoing conflict in Ukraine can be achieved, and the sooner this occurs, the better for all. It is precisely towards a long-term and sustainable peace, reliably ensuring the security of each and every one, that our country strives. Not everywhere, including in Kyiv and the capitals that are supporting it, are prepared for this, but we do hope that the full realization of such a necessity will come sooner or later. Until this is achieved, Russia will consistently pursue the goals it has set for itself. At the same time, I want to emphasize once again and ask you to bear in mind in your activities that Russia is always open to establishing equal and mutually beneficial relations with all international partners in the name of universal prosperity, well-being and development. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, present at today's ceremony are the ambassadors of 32 nations, each of which is an active and contributing member of the United Nations and makes its invaluable contribution to resolving the pressing issues on the global agenda. Many of you represent countries that are strategic partners and allies of Russia, with whom we are bound by strong ties of friendship, cooperation and mutual support, and with whom we actively collaborate within the framework of major international and regional organizations. I am confident the ambassador of Brazil will certainly agree that our two nations, which stood at the very origins of the BRICS formation, are consistent and like-minded partners when it comes to establishing a truly fair and multipolar global order. The cooperation between Russia and Brazil is progressively developing and expanding and is being enriched with new mutually beneficial projects across a wide range of different fields. As you are aware, only yesterday I had a telephone conversation with President Lula da Silva. This discussion reaffirmed our shared perspective on global and regional processes. This conversation has once again confirmed that in many respects they are either identical or very similar. I would like to emphasize that genuinely strong and friendly relations bind Russia with the Republic of Cuba. We have always provided and continue to provide assistance to our Cuban friends, and we are in solidarity with their resolve to defend their sovereignty and independence with all their might. The Russian-Cuban alliance has been tested by time and is based on the genuine mutual sympathies of the peoples of both countries. We are jointly implementing vitally important projects for the Cuban economy in energy, metallurgy, transport infrastructure, medicine, and expanding cultural and humanitarian exchange. I want to emphasize that Russia has long-standing, close, and constructive interactions with many Latin American countries. Our relations. We have always treated the states of this region with great respect as equal and independent partners. This fully applies to the countries represented here: Colombia, Peru, and Uruguay. We are confident that we possess all the necessary capabilities for the high-quality expansion of trade, investment, and commercial ties, as well as cooperation in the fields of healthcare, pharmaceuticals, education, and personnel training. In this same spirit of partnership and mutual trust, Russia is committed to further strengthening its engagement with the nations of the Middle East and North Africa.
One of the key roles in this region is played by Egypt, a country friendly to Russia, whose relations are being built and developed on the basis of the Agreement on Comprehensive Strategic Cooperation.
Our countries are implementing large-scale joint projects, including the construction of the Eldaba nuclear power plant and the establishment of a Russian industrial zone, specifically located in the Suez Canal region. In a month, we'll mark a century of diplomatic ties with Saudi Arabia. Our bilateral partnership is successfully expanding. This spoj anši šestorinaš is comprehensive. Tight coordination is in place within the OPEC Plus format.
What truly contributes to the maintenance of stability within the global petroleum market.
We welcome the Kingdom's decision to participate as the guest country at the upcoming St. Petersburg International Economic Forum in June. It is also important that Saudi Arabia plans to host the international music competition Eurovision, revived at our country's initiative. Relations with Lebanon and Iraq have traditionally developed in a spirit of mutual respect and positive cooperation. Our country consistently advocates for the support of the unity, sovereignty, and independence of these states, and against any external interference in their internal affairs. We closely cooperate with Pakistan, which is a full-fledged member of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, posts the largest regional structure in terms of its economic, technological, and human potential. And Russian-Pakistani relations are genuinely and truly mutually beneficial.
Afghanistan is also an observer state at CSEO.
Cooperation between Russia and Afghanistan has in recent times acquired a noticeable dynamic. This was greatly facilitated by the decision made by Russia last year to officially recognize the country's new authorities. It is our sincere interest to see Afghanistan emerge as a united, independent, and peaceful state, free from the devastating effects of war, terrorism, and drug trafficking.
Our collaboration with Sri Lanka is progressing very effectively.
With Bangladesh and the Republic of Maldives, we are successfully developing our contacts in traditional industries such as tourism, fishing, agriculture, and energy. We are committed to expanding our cooperation in other areas of mutual interest. At today's ceremony, we have a substantial group of ambassadors from friendly African nations: Somalia, Gabon, Senegal, Rwanda, Mauritania, Algeria, Ghana, and Namibia. Russia shares with all the nations of the continent relations of genuine partnership, mutual support, and assistance. The very foundations of these relations were laid back in the times of the struggle of African peoples for freedom and independence. Our country has made a substantial contribution to the liberation of African nations from colonial oppression, to the establishment of their statehood, to the development of their national economies, their social sphere, and to the preparation and equipping of their armed forces. And we are invariably committed to expanding our mutual political, economic, and humanitarian contacts. We continue to provide assistance and support to Africans in their pursuit of development and their active participation in international affairs. All these issues were thoroughly discussed at the Russia-Africa Summit in Sochi and St. Petersburg, and at the Russia-Africa Partnership Forum meeting held a month ago in Cairo at the foreign ministers level. We are now beginning preparations for the third Russia-Africa Summit to be held this year. Unfortunately, a great deal of the positive capital in our engagement with the Republic of Korea has been squandered. But in the past, by adhering to pragmatic approaches, our countries achieved truly excellent results in the fields of trade and business. We are counting on the restoration of relations with the Republic. With each of the European nations presented here, Slovenia, France, the Czech Republic, Portugal, Norway, Sweden, Austria, Switzerland, and Italy, our relations have deep historical roots, are filled with examples of mutually beneficial partnership and mutually enriching cultural cooperation. The current state of bilateral relations between the aforementioned countries and Russia leaves much to be desired. Dialogue and contacts, by no means through any fault of ours, I want to emphasize this, have been brought down to a bare minimum, both through official as well as business and public circles. Cooperation on key international and regional issues has been frozen.
I truly wish to believe that in due course the situation will ultimately change and our respective nations will return to a normal, constructive form of dialogue founded upon the principles of mutual respect for national interests and taking into consideration legitimate security concerns and anxieties. Russia has been and continues to be committed to exactly this kind of approach and is prepared for restoration. The necessary level of relations for us in general, as I have repeatedly noted, we are open to mutually beneficial cooperation with all countries without exception, and naturally we are interested in ensuring that the activities of each ambassador present here are as effective as possible. You can be absolutely certain, dear ladies and gentlemen, that all beneficial initiatives put forward by you will receive the full support of the Russian leadership, executive authorities, entrepreneurs, and civil society. Allow me to extend my best wishes for your success and all the very best in your endeavors. Thank you very much for your kind attention.